welcome to another episode of Potpourri. My name is Chevany Reed and I'm your host. And today our guest is April Marquette. April, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell us all about where April came from and all the great things about April that brought her to being an author.
Well, I'm a Georgia peach, but I'm a native New Yorker, and I was writing ever since I was a kid. But I had to, my dad said for us to get an education, get something that would pay the bills. So I went to college and got a job, but I was always sneaking and writing. And then when I got laid off, that was just the perfect time to move into writing and publishing.
So Mom was a songwriter,
Yes.
an artist. Dad was a pastor.
Yes, yes.
So when we say sneaking and writing, because we know the stuff that we write about sometimes, you're never grown enough to
Yes.
discuss it with your parents.
I was conflicted for a long time, and you know, before my dad passed, he was my greatest fan, and he would read a lot of what I wrote, and I would tell him, don't read it as your daughter, read it as an author.
And so with Dad being your fan, did it create a void? Did it spark a character when he passed? And
I actually did an ode to him. The book is called Rebuke. It's about a preacher.
in rebuking of sins, I take it.
Yeah, yes, yes.
So today, as an author, you not only are an author, but you publish your own books. That is awesome.
Thank
So
you.
many people think it's no way that we can do that.
Well, sometimes you have to, because I was with another publisher, but I wanted to move faster than that publisher, so it was a beautiful thing. They gave me wings. The CEO of the company gave me wings, and I won't say it was easy. It was not easy, but I love it.
So being a self-published author, what kind of advice do you give to up-and-coming authors? I know that we discussed that education is key.
Yes.
We all need that fallback plan,
Yes.
and we all need to be able to know what's real from what's fake.
Yeah.
And education helps with that, but the journey to being an author. Tell us a little about that journey and how someone else can learn from that journey.
Well, I found out that if you get with people that are supposed to help you, if they're charging you exorbitant sums, especially with agents, then they're not for you, because the agent is supposed to get you money and they're supposed to get paid from that. So that I had to learn. It just was so many things. The one thing I really would like to stress is that young people should never take no for an answer. There's always a yes.
Keep knocking on that
Yes.
door until someone answers.
Yes.
Now, I love your books,
Thank you.
and you have a myriad of stories to tell.
Yes.
One of them is about a Jamaican,
Yes, it is.
and I'm pretty excited about that one. I didn't get a chance to read it, and I look forward to it.
Okay.
Because being a Jamaican myself,
Yes.
I can't wait to hear about the story.
Yes.
But you have a trilogy,
It's the cohort trilogy.
and that trilogy is doing really well for you,
Yes,
right?
it
Tell us about
is.
the first two books.
Now, the first two in the series are called Absolution and Progression, and they're about Beau, a gay male. He's beautiful, sexy, all that good stuff, and his 4 women friends. And his women friends, they betray him, and there is drama.
Everyone loves drama. And the fact that Beau is, in essence, the victim.
Yes, yes.
And so with the third book, come on, just a little snippet.
Now, the third book is called Iniquities, and it's about Beau. I didn't even really want to write the third book, but people kept asking me to let them see the gay male side of things. You know, they wanted to see the erotica and whatnot, so I had to get with my gay male friends and do that.
So you tell the story from both sides. What do they
Yes.
say? There's my side, your side, and then the truth.
The truth, yes.
And Iniquity, that's the book where the sign is being held up,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Everyone
Over
really
the
needs,
nude man.
really needs to take a look at that trilogy. And now you're working on another book.
Improbable.
And Improbable is not out yet,
Not
but
yet.
we're anxiously awaiting it.
In May, the end of May of this year.
Now tell us a little bit about Improbable.
Improbable picks up where Iniquities left off. Improbable is about one of the offspring of the cohorts, and it's sexy, it's funny. You've got Gemma, who is the lead character, and she's involved with a male who is the heir to two fortunes, but there's another woman who decides that Gemma should be knocked out of the box and she should be with the male that is the heir.
Real life.
Yes.
Real life. And I guess real life is the theme too on the way you write. From
Yes.
what I understand and what I'm able to read, it's about everyday life, and sometimes it's not great.
No.
But there's hope, and I believe that's what you say your theme is.
Yes.
It gives us hope.
It
Now,
is.
why do you do that?
Because there was a time when I suffered from depression and I felt there was no hope. So I know there are a lot of people out there who feel the same way. So I want to offer them the candle of hope. If you see situations in my books that you've been through, there is hope. I don't always say that there's going to be a wonderful ending, but there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel.
And we all need light at the end of the
Yes.
tunnel. And not only just being beautiful, April, I just think that the way you speak
Thank
about your
you.
books and the hope
love
that you
it.
care about giving is so important for up-and-coming authors, for just people in general. But I know there was a time, and I know we spoke a little about the depression, there was a time that you didn't think you were going to be an author.
No, I didn't.
Where
Because
was
you
your
have to
life
pay
path?
the bills.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I had to work on jobs that I hated and jobs where people are micromanaging you and they're always talking in your ears and whatnot. But the hope came in because I hoped that one day I could do this. One day I could get out from under that. And I've been so blessed to be able to do it.
So you're a living, walking experience of
Yes.
hope. And with that experience, what do we have to look forward to? What other projects are April?
Oh, my goodness.
Because you also motivate. You also talk to students.
Yes.
You do a whole educational series and things like that. You give back to the community.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's so much. You're an author, but it's an awesome thing to give back. There's no greater thing than giving back.
Well, you know, I love young people. They keep you stimulated. They're funny. You get different points of view from them. But sometimes they have no one to talk to. Sometimes they can't go home and say, well, you know, this is what I'm going through. So I find that if I'm there, they can speak to me and they never have to hear it again, even if I can just offer that. And then I want to share with them my love for reading.
And reading, when you love reading, whether it's fiction, novels, any type of novels,
Yes.
it'll take you to a world
Yes.
beyond this spot. And I think that is awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Now, when we discuss your parents and your mom being a entertainer slash songwriter,
Yes.
do you think that that helped you, that creative gene?
Definitely.
And with that creative gene, how did you first come about realizing that you're really good at what you do?
Well, I didn't realize it. It was my brother who told me. He had a report in, I believe it was middle school, and he was saying, oh, I need some help, I need some help. And he kept bothering me, and I said, give me the paper. And so I wrote things down for him, and I said, now put this in your own words. And the next day he went to school, and he was reading it, and he said, then people started laughing, and more people were laughing, and more people, and the teacher was laughing, and he came home and told me, you are a writer.
So brother actually
Yes.
told you what you were going to be and how good you are at it.
Yes, yes.
So let's say, April, if you had a word of advice to give an up-and-coming author, what would that be?
Follow your heart. I was once told that if there are no tears in the writer, there can be no tears in the reader. And if there is no laughter in the writer, there can be no laughter in the reader. Sometimes we don't want to dig deep. I had to put some of my experiences in a book. You know, sometimes we experience hardships and things like miscarriages and divorces and whatnot. Well, if I've experienced those things, I give you that. I give you from the sister's point of view.
Because you can tell the story, and if you believe it and you know it to be truth,
Yes.
then me as a reader, or as I'm reading, I'm going to feel your pain.
Yes, yes.
So that's awesome.
I want you to become immersed in the story. I want you to feel like you're there and you're a character on the sidelines. I don't want you to be on the periphery. I hate reading a book and thinking, oh, I got to do laundry. I want to read a book and my husband says, I'm hungry. What are you going to cook? And I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
When your books are being read, it's one of those, he's asleep, now I have my own
Yes.
time, I can read.
Yes.
And you write for the woman reader.
Yes, I
Not
do.
saying that men can't appreciate it and understand your writing, but we all as women need to escape,
Yes.
need to see that there's other things going on,
Oh, yeah,
and seeing how
yeah.
we're a part of it.
And then I try to give you those little erotic bits too, so that if he's asleep, you can wake him up with some cute little tricks.
Thanks to April, right? Well, April, I know that our time is short, but before we close, please, where can we find you? Where can we get all your great books? And
They're at barnesandnoble.com and they're at amazon.com, and here in Atlanta, they're at Charit's Books and outright.
okay, so April Marquette,
Yes.
we'd search.
April Alisa.
Elisa Marquette, spell that for me.
It's A-L-I-S-A, and Marquette is M-A-R-Q-U-E-T-T-E.
And you also have your website.
Yes, it's my name, AprilAlisaMarquette.com.
Awesome. And there's Kindle editions, I noticed.
Yes, yes. And there are also Nook editions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, April. And I so look forward to delving as deep as I can in all that is April and supporting you. And I thank you once again for coming.
Thank you.
When we return to Potpourri, we'll hear about NANO Day.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover. Up to 40%.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We got much too much. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest-
Spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. Tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Up to 40% of businesses never recover. Up to 40%.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We got much too much. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We got the spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest-
Spirit, we're hot, we can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. Tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
40% of businesses never recover. Up to 40%.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest-
Spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're gonna beat them and bust them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. Tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Thank you for joining us here at Potpourri. Please tell me a little about what brought you guys here, and Lionel, what you're doing. I know you are a grad student here at CAU. Actually, both of you are grad students.
Yeah.
Chemistry grad students at that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. Tell us a little about yourself and what brought you here to CAU and this journey of NANO Day.
Okay, well, I originally did my undergraduate degree in biology here at Clark Atlanta University, where I was able to interact with some other professors in the chemistry department, which grasped my interest in chemistry. So as I, switched over to a different side of science, I was able to work with my advisor, who is Dr. James Boo, on a project in conjunction with the Department of Homeland Security, where we're building a sensor to detect peroxide-based explosives. And for those who are not aware of peroxide-based explosive, it's a powdery substance that terrorist organizations typically use. I'm sure you guys are aware of the underwear bomber, the shoe bomber, and as of right now, there's no way to mitigate the use of these explosives. So my research is based on building a technology to sense those decomposition products so that we can use it on the battlefield and at different checkpoints so that we can secure our nation as a whole.
Wow, that is unbelievable. And Lionel?
Well, I myself have always been in the field of chemistry. I completed my undergraduate degree at Savannah State University in the field of chemistry. I wanted to continue my studies because I knew that in the long run I either wanted to go into academia or I wanted to go into research and development for a consumer company. Therefore, I figured a higher level degree within the field of chemistry would be very well needed for me to achieve those goals. Currently, I'm working in the field of material sciences, where I'm using nanomaterials to reinforce different materials to make them stronger biodegradable materials, as well as working on a separate project with using nanomaterials for reinforcement for aerospace vehicles for NASA's to build reusable aerospace vehicles.
So you're building material to break it down, basically.
Yes.
And you're building material to identify,
Right.
to find out where this stuff is.
Correct.
In, in people terminology, right? We're not even going to say layman terms, but people terminology. And together, it's both under the chemistry umbrella.
Yes.
And it's research, and it's being done at Clark Atlanta University.
Right.
Right here in our home.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
It is. And the scope of everything is, like he said, based on nanotechnology. What a lot of people don't understand or even aware of, that nanotechnology is used throughout our day-to-day basis. Even with glasses, sunglasses, they have scratch-resistant lenses. Sunscreen also have a form of nanoparticles in it. So just to bring awareness to the field itself and to show undergraduates or K through 12 students a different direction when it comes down to chemistry and what areas to focus in and hone in on, which is nanotechnology, would be great. And that's why we propose to have Nano Day in conjunction with the Center for Functional Nanoscale Materials in the chemistry department, whose advisor is Dr. Ishrat Khan. And I'm sure you can elaborate a little bit more about it.
Okay, well, the Nano Day that we're putting together is an opportunity to bring together students of the community, as she was saying, with K through 12.
So it's everyone?
Yes,
right.
It's also open to all of the AUC. All the students and faculty are welcome to come in and actually see also what the nanosciences are about.
Okay. And when we say nanoscience, how many different sciences does that incorporate? Or can you just give us a few that we just hear nano and we just don't know?
There's the electronical side of nanoscience. There's the biological side as well as the chemistry side. Most of them focus on a better way of improving technology in terms of electronics. In the future, which we may or may not be here at this time, with the cell phone companies, they're incorporating nanomaterials into, say, the battery of cell phones, so you have a longer battery life. And also the resistors are a lot shorter, so the frequency is a lot higher. So therefore you get more of a signal. So
Bring
that,
on nano, because my signal is terrible.
In another field, you can actually take nanomaterials and you're actually using the same amount of materials, just breaking it up into smaller dimensions. Now, when you break these particles down to their smaller dimensions, you can actually spread out the same amount of material instead of having a centralized strength. Incorporate this strength into a wider range of materials.
So, if I'm understanding that correctly, it's almost, you can stretch it?
You're basically stretching.
It's
It's like a
malleable.
filler. It's like a nano filler.
Correct.
Right.
They are fillers. Fillers used for reinforcement.
Awesome, awesome. So we have Nano Day coming up.
Right.
Tell us about Nano Day and all that we can expect to see during Nano Day.
Okay.
I know we mentioned that it's from K through 12.
Yes, the participants will actually be exposed to interactive demonstrations where they will actually see where nano actually applies to things in their everyday life. There will be seminars, there will be tours, and there will be a lot of interaction with collegiate level students who actually can go in and continue to reinforce the importance of a higher education and reinforce and encourage the students to continue on in their studies.
Right, and just to piggyback off of what Lionel just said, in regards to for higher education, the opportunities are there. There's a lot of preconceived notions about science where someone may say it's not for them, it's too hard. But one thing I like about Clark Atlanta University's culture is that the students are there, the professors are there, the faculty and staff are there to help scaffold you into the person that you choose to become. So there's other resources such as mentorship opportunities, and once you get into the laboratory, you can learn the different characterization tools, and when it's fit, you can take on your own research project, and at a later time, you can present it at our National Noble Conference, or even the American Chemical Society Conference, where you can learn what's going on in the field, have a better knowledge, and improve your internship, accessibilities.
So the beauty then is to give us chemistry and just science the way we never knew it was before. Right. And having mentorship, because it scares us, right? You see a lot of students, they're scared. It's like, I can't do science.
Right.
And then they find out that they not only can do science, but they're loving science.
Right.
And they find all these different parts of science, whether it's chemistry or research.
Yes.
And that's what makes it awesome. So you mentioned Nabushe, I believe you pronounce it. Is that the N-A-B-C-C-H-E?
Well, it's Nobushe, N-O-B-C-C-H-E. Those acronyms similar to what you said. And it stands for the National Organization for the Professional Advancement of Black Chemists and Chemical Engineers. And also the STEM fields, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics field.
Of which you're both officers in this great organization.
Right.
And I believe you're celebrating 40 years, right?
Yes. The national conference is in Indianapolis.
Yes.
Indianapolis.
Yes. And Lionel is the president, and I'm the vice president of the organization.
That is awesome. Clark Atlanta,
Yes.
vice president and president
Correct.
of such a nationwide organization.
Correct.
So with NANO Day, when is it taking place?
It will be taking place on April 26th. We will be holding the event from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
What location?
Thomas Cole Science Research Center.
Right here on Clark Atlanta campus.
Right.
That's awesome. And you both will be there, I know.
Yes.
Who else can we expect to see there?
You can see Dr. Carlton E. Brown. He's one of our speakers, as well as Dr. Juana Mendenhall of Morehouse. She's coming to give a talk as well. And then we have some mini demonstrations from the students where it's hands-on, and the audience can participate by asking questions or answering them.
So we'll get to see chemistry live and in person
Right.
during NANO Day. That is
Yes.
awesome. And is this our first NANO Day?
It is our first.
And it will be annual. It will be annual.
It will. I
will.
own it. I hope that it will be annual. Last year for the Nobel seminar, what we had a Nobel laureate, Dr. Harold Kroto, come, and he discussed his discovery about finding the Buckminster fullerene, which is really the buckyball. If you're aware of that, it's like a soccer ball, but it's
kind of open here.
Yes,
and
open to
does
close.
stuff.
Yes, exactly.
You mean that wasn't just a toy?
No, there's a science behind it. And that foundation led for carbon nanotubes. It has, there's single wall carbon nanotubes, there's double wall carbon nanotubes, and also multi-wall carbon nanotubes. So like Lionel was stating, his project is based on covering the outer lining of space shuttles with these materials, because carbon nanotubes or nanomaterials are lighter than steel and sturdier and better than steel. So it's a wave into the future. So I'm really happy to see where this genre progress. And also, it's currently used with the regular planes that we have. It's a help to withstand, the air and the breeze, so that you can get to your destination with a lot less bounces. And
So then we have NANO Day on April 26th
right.
at the Thomas Cole Research Center.
Yes.
And we'll be able to find out more information about your organization and how to stay involved, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
You can also get in touch with the Clark Atlanta student chapter of Nobel through our Facebook page. You can also find more information about the Nobel organization as a whole on nobelche.org. That was nobcche.org. You can get full information about the different activities that you can take part in on the national level, and you can actually contact us through the Facebook page of how to be active at the student level.
Lorene and Lionel, thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to supporting you both at NANO Day and hearing all the great things your organization is working on. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Potpourri. I'm your host, Chevany Reed, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.